Welcome to Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, a professional run. It's the court time of 9:43 a.m. on the Eastern Time on Friday, Feb 24th. Hope you guys had a great week so far and happy Friday. Sorry for missing a little bit in the last couple of days. I've just been traveling early in the morning, so didn't I wasn't able to make time specifically way earlier in the morning to accommodate for my commute schedule to also get the video across. But let's do some recap, shall we? Respect to the overall market as we are seeing us on this Friday morning so far. You can see that we are relatively suppressed, right, across the spectrum, down across the entire market, not just specifically for crypto, but obviously on the equity side as well. If you look at the index front, down 1.5% respectively. And what's really going on, right? Let's take a look at the news front. And this is relatively obvious, but this is, again, more of a reactionary type of a catalyst that we're seeing. So, obviously, the inflationary number came out today on the CPI, the Consumer Expenditure Price Index report, came out for Jan. Okay, so again, a historical depictions on what's something that has happened before, right? It seems like on the core personal consumer expenditure front has risen by 0.6% for the month, but was up 4.7% from a year ago. And with respect to the headline inflationary number, it's increased by 0.5 and 5.4 respectively. All numbers were higher than estimates, but slightly higher than estimates. The numbers suggest the accelerated start of the new year, putting the Feds in a position where they're likely to continue to rise interest rates, which is something that's expected as well. So that's the main news, obviously driving some negativity. We saw a little bit of a choppiness yesterday, due to this, what do you call that, anticipatory pressure that drive the market to, turn a certain way. And across the spectrum today, as we get the confirmatory signal, we will see some volatility. But I think the day durates, I wouldn't be surprised that we might actually rebound subsequently by the end of this day and then open green on Monday again. Now, knowing the fact that this is again a relatively reactionary, for something that's historical, not something that is more of a proactive approach that we're taking. And also, you can see that the 10-year yield is also rising, up 4% at the moment. And then some other news that you could see that just news across the spectrum from the Feds. Seems like there are some layoffs happening with Ericsson, which is a more of a mobile company out in other parts of the world, and seems like there are additional trivial news that are. This is interesting. Jamie Dimon says the Federal Reserve has lost a little bit of control of inflation. I mean, I'm not really surprised. That's a fair statement. I mean, this is something that we've been discussing for quite some time. I mean, this is more of a clickbait, if you may, right? Has the Feds really lost its control? I would say a little bit. I mean, it's been something that they've been taking more of a reactionary approach than a proactive approach. So it's not a surprise. And then last but not least, just seeing news across the spectrum talking about some SaaS and telecom and chip stocks. Obviously, certain ones will be more affected than other due to the supply chain issues and combined with geopolitical tensions across the spectrum. And then seems like Th Lee, Thomas Lee, which is a famous private equity investor, has died at the age of 78. So that's really much it. But before we dive in, maybe let's take a look at the uh, buying and selling report from BlackRock and ARK Invest on yesterday. Seems like yesterday for BlackRock was a relatively sell day again ahead of the report opening today. ARK Invest was more of a buy day, relatively speaking. Interesting. They have a different approach, obviously. So let's just dive into technical, see what's going on. With respect to recording time of 9:48 a.m. on the Eastern time, you can see that we are kind of sliding off right now on a daily 394 on the SPY front. What we're going to be ideally seeing is going to happen is we might see some landing up around like 390 all the way to 380, and the critical level that we do not want to break is 388. Okay. So seems like the weekly is also kind of bearish. You can see that we are in the mid of a formation, reverse head and shoulder, right? The head, shoulder, shoulder. And as we finish forming this secondary shoulder pattern, we should ideally see some elevation from here. And then on the crypto front, let's just dive into it, right? So you can see that clearly right now on a daily, it's quite mixed bag, right? Relatively muted at the 52 mark. You could see that we have formed a small death cross, basically just struggling to stay above 1650. So we need to kind of come below 1550. So 1550 to 1650 would be the logical spectrum. 1550 to 1450 would be the secondary spectrum. But I think a critical level that we do not want to break, if we want to hold this like reverse head and shoulder, you can see that if you look at this on a weekly, it's a little bit more prominent, right? It seems like we're forming this upward wedge. We are squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. What's ideal for us to basically reconfigure and I guess re-incentivize the market to come back up again is some normalization, right? So I think coming down to like 1550, 1450 would not be a surprise to us. And then obviously the monthly is like consolidated. So it is looking like we are looking to rebound eventually. Bitcoin on the side of the equation, you can see that same thing on the monthly. Weekly, it is forming an upward wedge. So we are in the mid of a high extension. You can see that clearly, right? We've been drawing this for quite some time. A cup and handle. Yeah, a cup. And then this is a relatively elongated handle. So we need to kind of come back down midway, ideally coming back to below like 20,500 and then re-elevate from here. On the daily, you could see that we are, relatively muted as well, consolidating on a sideways fashion, not really moving up or down. So again, today's reaction is mainly due to a negative historical depictions of what happened last month, not the future outlook. So I think today, if you are thinking more of a tactical perspective, it does present like a logical small buying opportunity, right? I do believe that based on the technical front, a reversal should be happening sometimes like late Q2 within this year. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate you for joining me this morning, and I will check you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.